they didn't ask any of the stupid brain teaser questions like how many marbles will fit in a subway train. Happy holidays, my dudes and dudettes and the rest of you who are somewhere in between. Recruiter here, and I come bearing gifts. About 6 weeks ago, I was notified that my job was being eliminated and I was getting sacked, fired, kicked out, shown the door, given my pink slip. What a bastard 2020 has been. Even though I've got a little bit more time because they did find some other work for me to do, I obviously started looking right away. So today I'm doing a live Hirevue demo. This is from my own job search. This is an actual real Hirevue video interview for a talent acquisition senior manager role with a Fortune 500 Swiss company. Spoiler alert, I didn't get this job. I failed. Why am I going to show you a demo of a Hirevue interview that I failed? Simple, so you don't make the same mistakes I did. I was rushed, I was tired, and I made all of the mistakes that I'm constantly harping on and on about for you not to make. I think this will be a good demonstration, frankly, of what not to do. All right, let's watch together. You can let me know below in the comments where you think I went wrong, what I could have done better. While you're at it, subscribe, click the bell, enable notifications, and when this video is over, go ahead and watch another one of my videos. It's actually the most helpful thing you can do when it comes to the YouTube algorithm is to subscribe and then watch 1 or 2 more of my videos back to back. Thanks for that. Okay, since this job is technically still open at the time of the recording, I'm gonna do my best to keep the company name confidential. If you happen to pick up on it, please don't post it in the comments. Seriously, just post a comment like I got it or I figured it out, but please don't mention the name. If you do, I'm just gonna have to delete the comment, and I don't wanna delete your comments. Just keep in mind, I've edited down my answers just to cover the highlights and give you a better sense of where my head was at. I didn't include the full 3-minute answer to every question. And keep in mind, I did not get this job.
Hi, my name is Alejandra Santorio and I'm the Regional Recruitment Solutions Manager for Americas. I would like to welcome you to our process and thank your participation in it. Please take 1 or 2 minutes to present yourself. We would like to know you better.
Hello, so I am Darren DeLuca. I am currently with Pfizer as our head of talent acquisition outreach for North America. And my role is to advocate for veterans and individuals with disabilities. It's to help connect Pfizer to more veterans and individuals with disabilities. And it's to keep Pfizer compliant with the OFCCP and Section 503 of the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1973. I got my start in talent acquisition kind of by accident, the way so many people do, with an agency. And I spent 5 years on the agency side and was very fortunate to be able to transition to Johnson & Johnson, where I started as a contractor. And I was a contractor with them for about a year and then was hired full-time and had a great experience with them as a sourcer. So my experience in talent acquisition is really across the board, full cycle, and I think I would be a terrific fit based on what Alejandra and I talked about for this role at Givaudan.
Tell me, what do you know about Givaudan? What motivates you about this role and why would you like to work for us?
So I understand Givaudan to be a global multinational company based in Switzerland, but with presence all over the world, in Europe, in South America, in North America, and really throughout the world. That is a leader in the fragrance and flavor space, which interestingly is very similar to pharmaceuticals in a lot of different ways. But Givaudan is certainly a leader in that space, probably one of the biggest names in flavors and fragrances, which is essentially, a business based on science and chemicals and molecules, and in many ways is very similar to pharmaceuticals because a lot of the same regulation applies to flavors and fragrances as do to pharmaceuticals. I think Givaudan would be an excellent opportunity to work for a large global multinational company I think it would give me an excellent opportunity to really kind of own and control the USTA function and put my thumbprint on it and be a part of making it great. And I know that the compliance piece is very, very important to Givaudan based on GDPR regulations, and this is something that so because of the current work that I do with the OFCCP, yeah, I understand the downstream implications of not being compliant, of trying to take a shortcut and what that can lead to. And I will be excited to partner very closely with the business leaders in New York and New Jersey and the HR leaders in New York and New Jersey, and make talent acquisition wonderful.
Share briefly your experience in managing end-to-end recruitment, please.
End-to-end recruitment. This is what I've done for many, many years. Starting with Johnson and Johnson, where I was a sourcer, but interestingly, the sourcers actually had considerably more responsibility and more of the process than the partnering recruiters did. The partnering recruiters processed offer letters and things like that. The sourcers took the candidates from prospect all the way through to offer extended. So that's not quite full cycle, but I did have some full cycle there as well by me. So again, from the entire candidate life cycle, from prospect to butt in seat, um, everything in the middle, from processing background checks, offer letters, proofreading offer letters, sending offer letters out, revising offer letters based on candidate negotiation. I mean, everything fell under my remit. Um, However, every other aspect of the process would be handled directly by the TA team, and our HR operations team was very, very small and very, very, very backed up and very frankly very slow to get things done. So much of what we had to accomplish with them was literally a negotiation. Really an interesting kind of dynamic there. Now at Pfizer, I don't own any requisitions. I think I mentioned that to Alejandra. I more own the relationship with candidates and kind of shepherd them through the process. I don't actually own any requisitions, but I would love to go back to owning requisitions and managing a full bench.
Tell me about your key accomplishments as a talent advisor.
So interestingly, I took the talent advisory leadership training while working for Johnson and Johnson. But I think the experience I had as a talent advisor really shined through at Mallinckrodt. And I really think that my talent advisory skills came to the forefront there. And I can think of a specific example with the clinical operations team. We had basically a constant issue with hiring clinical trial managers. And the clinical trial managers, literally, those positions had been open for 6 months to a year before I joined the company. So, what I was able to influence him to do was condense the interview process and condense the number of individuals that had a say in the hiring decisions. So we shortened that process. We trimmed out the number of individuals with a hand in the decision, and that improved the ratio up to the group's average of about 4-1.
Tell me an example about a challenging recruitment that you failed to deliver, how you handle it, and what was your learning about it.
So again, I'll reference my experiences at Mallinckrodt here. One of the searches that I handled personally that I did not pass off to the Korn Ferry Future Step reps. The company had already done all the studies that it was likely to ever do as far as this drug and rheumatology were concerned. I got one candidate through to offer stage. He ultimately did not accept the position. And I think the reason for that is because I didn't manage the hiring manager's wants and desires strongly enough at the outset of the process. I didn't do enough heavy lifting during the recruitment strategy meeting, which left us open to unrealistic expectations later. I've learned to put in the extra effort at the beginning to make it easier at the end.
Tell me, why do you think you are the right candidate for the role, and what will be your developmental gap if you get it?
So I think I'd be the right candidate for this role for a couple of different reasons. Number one, you need somebody who's pretty senior and pretty mature, at the level of manager or even senior manager, who isn't dead set on managing a team, who doesn't mind being an individual contributor, who doesn't mind, running a full rec load. And that definitely fits the bill. I've done both. I've been an individual contributor, I've been a playing coach, I've been purely a manager. I have no concerns with being an individual contributor, managing a full rec load, and so from that standpoint, I definitely fit the bill. And, working for global multinational corporations, I understand GDPR compliance. I'm not going to sit there and say that I'm a super expert on GDPR, but I understand that there's a process that has to be stuck with and data integrity that has to be maintained. And if you don't maintain it, there's downstream effects to that. The company gets hit with fines or audits later in the future. I have to say that even though I didn't do well on this interview, I do think the questions they asked were good. They were very relevant questions, definitely well tuned into a talent acquisition manager or senior manager level role. They didn't ask any of the behavioral BS questions like, tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult coworker. Or they didn't ask me any of the stupid hypothetical questions either, like, what would you do if you were confronted with blah, blah, blah? And finally, they didn't ask any of the stupid brain teaser questions like how many marbles will fit in a subway train. None of those questions would really be relevant to a talent acquisition manager role. The company stuck to questions that were relevant. I really appreciate that. Now, do this. Watch either of the two jobs on screen here any second now. They're going to give you some great tips on how you can take your job interviewing abilities to the next level and find that job of your dreams. Happy holidays, dare I even say. Merry Christmas. Best wishes for a much better 2021. I'll see y'all in the new year. Thanks for stopping by. Peace.